It's March 22nd, 2018. March 22nd, 2019. 8:24 a.m. It's been at least 15, 20, maybe even 25 minutes ago. No more than 25 minutes ago, I woke up. I was downstairs in the basement, woke up from dreaming. I had headphones in and a program on the phone, ZTE Blade X Max, called Atmosphere. I had it set on a deep sleep tone. I went to bed roughly around 3, I'd have to say 3:30. So 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30. 4.5 hours, but there was dreams prior to that. Sure of it. I'm not sure how long it lasts. But, dream had to do with some police station, had to do with the truck stop, covering up someone's bag of candies, but yet it wasn't candy. I don't know what the fuck it was. They were smoking a joint. And then it had to do with something with Sally's Market. And I was like, finally, I stopped into Sally's Market, and some type of code to them, a double nod sign. I remember the clerk and that was a massive deal. See, I haven't stopped into Sally's Market in over a year, and since December 2017. Yeah, December 2017. I didn't go there since then. Massive dreams associated connecting my day outside. So I was at the sheriff's department yesterday. That's where possibly part of the police department situation came in. Being either induced in my sleep for information kind of situation, but there's nobody here in the house. You'd have to think somebody that would do something like that would want to be close enough in the house. They did that. They've been doing that shit even since I was a kid. Which exhausts me in my sleep. I wake up tired. I just lived a second life kind of situation in my sleep because of hypnotic suggestions and inducing and whatever else they're doing. Dream weaving, lucid dream techniques, narrative, talking to somebody in their sleep. Anyhow, with that being said, Sally's Market, prior to Sally's Market, see, I walked out of Sally's Market, turned into a truck stop. There's something that was over off of Green Lawn Avenue that reminded me of a truck stop and somebody watching that. There was also Mexican individuals. As I was just saying that a few seconds ago, another micro-ish voice, it seems like it came out from the left side, back side, maybe farther out, not even out back, but maybe it came from this direction. Mel's voice, Rod, scolding me. So I'm being beaten on, and basically I'm going to say physically beaten on for the fact of an implant completely frying my brain out. Anyhow, I was at White Castle's Green Lawn Avenue yesterday. I walked all the way down, Front and High Street. A lot of things happening with that. Situation down the street happening. But in the dream, there's a Dan Barbie that I seen on Twitter here in the house. More than likely a she-male in England. But I don't want to say nothing right now because these guys are being really harsh. I don't want to operate with them rather than operating independently for myself, basically. And them taking away my, basically, independency. We control that, and that's ours. Okay. Or we control the value that's in between you two. And on top, basically taking control of somebody else's life just because I talk to them. Like they're making a terrorist association. and causing the other person harm, or making contact and trying to do the same thing to them as they did to me, utilizing that's what we get to do, sheriff's department or whatever. I've noticed I've had problems with even Franklin County Sheriff's Department hardcore here since I have to go back even to maybe 2013. Might even been 2012. 2013 era, where they drained, I'm going to say they literally drained a Sony Nex 3 cam. It doesn't have no mobile or nothing, it's a regular camera. Video recording, but picture taking camera. DSLR camera. Anyhow, so by Nationwide, I think it was, if I recall right, somewhere like Nationwide Boulevard. It was up there. I just took an anonymous trip. And even in that anonymous trip, all kinds of shit was going good because there was electronic jamming going on until I crossed the pass of the sheriff's department. And then one of the patrol cars, pulls out as I'm trying to take pictures while the camera was going blurry and whatnot. That's just like also, I don't know who was in the car. I think it might have been a white male on that one. I couldn't identify. It was dark, late night, almost like a back alley situation. I remember the parking lot, so I'm saying I think it was sheriff's department, some type of division where they park the cars rather than locally down here downtown, where there's plenty of sheriff's cars, not just a couple. Plus, I think there's police cruisers, I'm not sure. But anyways, to get back into the dream, I walk out of the Sally's Market, which was a little awkward for store-wise. The clerk was the younger. It was one of the older males, and then all of a sudden it turned into the younger boy. So somebody shifted through at least two different store people. With that being said, excuse me. With that being said, I walked out in the parking lot. There was something going on. Some Hicktown shit. Oh, in the dream, there was some type of, which is here on the receipt. I was writing down something somebody said. What is another Bigo Live? It's a app that you get to watch other broadcasters broadcast, streamers. And something about gold in her hair, weddings and whatnot. And I just wrote it down just to keep a note on it. Something to the dream has something that in it. I concentrate too much on it, and that's been a day and a half ago. With that being said, some type of there's also hayfields in the dream. Some type of kind of mapping technology, some kingdom sign, which I take that back. It may not have been also just a receipt. The video showed the protector, which I watched right before I went to sleep. But technically I passed out watching it anyways, upstairs. I really didn't get to see a whole lot. So somebody's bothering me on key notes of what I'm looking, like I key into something, which was the shirt. And then the basement of this place, and then there's also a meme that I seen from, I think it was Foxyzilla, or it's another streamer online. It wasn't just from her, as a reply, I think, to her from Tony Montoya. I'll have to get what it was. Either way, I'm sure now it's Foxyzilla's stuff. It was within that situation. I think it was one of her, Tony Montoya, like a follower, and one of her, that was on Twitter. So that's two Twitters. No, that's popped up. Anyways, it was a meme with a bunch of hay rolls and something about, you're from the city if you don't know what this is about, or something like that. And it basically making it out, country boy type of situation. So there you go, relative. That was before I took the trip yesterday. That was a yesterday situation. I'll go get those memes here in a second. The hay was golden collared, multitudes of rolls, but in the dream, which is now recollecting, some type of mapping situation, the kind of the hay rolls, but also trying to hide. There was some type of, I'd say, forestry of some sort. Yes. I think Gennaro Torres is saying shit. Sounded like either that or somebody out from their place. Thomas Tuckman, the other part of the law enforcement. This is what we want. I want to see if it works. Here, confirm for me that I'm doing. I'll do whatever I want to. So, something my mother used to do to me while I was asleep, exhausted me while I was asleep when I lived with her in Colorado Springs, even as a child. But it's okay to do. No wonder why I was always tired at school and never got any sleep. That's one of the reasons. Two, also going through emotional duress in my sleep. Somebody creating a situation like a second life being lived. And me waking up to the point I was in, just like I was today, in pain. Not just by headache of dreaming and incapacitating and I'm not getting no sleep, but emotional distraught intentionally. I found myself high-pitched moaning, almost like a little girl. It wasn't deep, it wasn't hard, like, and the way it's almost like an alteration of the voice, a changing of the mind. So when I wake up, that's the mindset that I have. Schizoid, hey bitch. But anyways, a lot of things they've been doing all the time anyways. But the dream is basically, it's starting to seem like it's a sum up of what happened yesterday again. Somebody trying to summarize my life and, oh, at least we got that done. You're mentally retarded, we got a right to do this to you. You're under investigation, we got a right to do this to you. You're utilizing techniques as what they did as a child, so the connectivity of that makes me understand that they've been connected way farther than any type of investigation. They're utilizing me for their entertainment fun is the way I'll put it, but their scientific research like a guinea pig, but also living off of it. Basically utilizing it as controlment, like mentally retarded or developmentally disabled, housing, raising, developmental shit. We had to help you develop in your sleep. It's a technique that they utilize for, say, Down syndrome or retarded children or developmentally slow children. I've seen some other things like that on the internet, but nah. Without lawful right to do it, you just don't have a right to do it. I don't even think there may be even a lawful right to do it the way they're doing it. If it was a good thing and was utilized for good, even if it's wrong to do per se, but it was utilized as giving a good dream, maybe occasionally, not day after day after day after day. Anyhow, I've been able to break the hypnotic suggestion shit. I was in pain for years. 2005, I went to New York City, had a wisdom tooth extraction and some other shit. Somebody said they pulled a little nasal implant stent, but that wasn't like outright, we did this. It was under the breath stuff. And then after I left, it was under the breath stuff. I was being stalked and followed still. A bunch of blacks, pitmen. With that being said, some other blacks involved in Indianapolis, trying to hypnotically suggest shit in my sleep, and did, but I woke up. That was just not even 7 hours after the operation, and I woke up already like, ugh. I was already feeling good. The mind's starting to, because all the pain was gone, it's like, regaining competency, traction, capacity. And I woke up immediately, and I seen the other black guy in a mission, sitting on his bed, looking and staring right over at me. Why, there's others laying down, but you could hear them, hey, 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 hey. The fuck? I'm being targeted in my sleep? But that's just more connection to actually what's going on. Anyhow, I left there, and I just started building more and more and more power, even though I was stupid. I came out here, and I stopped by, well, actually, I didn't stop by. I didn't know they lived there, but I ended up staying a few nights because they did live there. with some toxic gay family members, which wasn't right at all. How could I? But anyways, so I went out to New York City, and you'd think, damn, New York City would have broken your ass, and it did, and it didn't at the same time. I was just building power, and I was able to acquire like a more of a intake without having pain or any type of uh, what would you call it? Disconfiguration of thought, disorganized thought, or anything else. It was just not even just clear thought. It was just unpainful thought. So I'm building up this confidence. And even in New York, they was trying to play hypnotic suggestion games while I was asleep. And I would wake up, and I had people standing over top of me. Like a cultive fucking act is the way I put it. Like the TV. Maybe it's not cultive act, actually, and the TV depicted it wrong. But what is it called? The Witches. Alicia Silverstone played in it. It's a movie from, I think, 1995. Light as a feather, stiff as a board type of situation is one of the things in the movie anyhow. They did rings, and they would do fucking like light as a feather, stiff as a board scene. Well, I woke up, and I instantly woke up. They thought they had me into a deep sleep and a comatose hypnotic suggestive state. And I wasn't. I woke up and I was like, what? Fucking cop walks over and gets it's a bunch of girls. Cop walks over and they start complaining. This is what he gets. This is what he needs. This is what he gets. We got a right to do this. He ain't supposed to be in public. One of the girls had black hair. I remember that one of them may have been in a dress, sort of. Almost fucking like a sorority dress. I'm laying in the middle of a sign. I think it's just 3 circles. 1 circle, 2 circles, medium, and then a smaller circle. Almost like a damn call to act, drawing say like a fucking star with candles, lighting candles on it, but not them making some type of insinuation of scolding. Maybe trespassing at the New York City Library. Because I was at the New York City Library, 5th Avenue, 42nd Street, sleeping. Somebody trying to basically slap me in my sleep, scold me in my sleep like I'm stupid or I need to be controlled because I'm trespassing. They did the same shit in Florida prior to me getting there. They did the same shit elsewhere. That's related Carl Newman, for sure, and his people. But it's also Ella Purdue, Carl Newman, Gennaro Torres, and Thomas Duckman. These guys have been around with the other, remember there's those blacks, at least I'm going to count 4 blacks in the mission in Indianapolis right before all that in 2005. That would have been June of 2005, and starting then. Anyways, to carry on with the situation, I messed up. Things was rough. There was a massive amount of things in New York City that wasn't right. I was stalked there. You would think I don't know nobody. There are these people that are saying, he deserves this, this is what he gets. Isn't normal New York action. It was connected elsewhere, like utilizing, keeping me in control and check, and in their power of authority. And it didn't completely work just yet. I messed up, went back to Colorado Springs to my mom's house. And that's the ultimate test. She and the other neighbors that were around, ultimate testing her for sure. Prying information out of me in my sleep, prying out a physical feeling. And I remember waking up and I started getting dizzy. Maybe I was being fucking given sleeping tablets out there, not being known. But no matter what, take him, Kathy, take him. Just live it all in, breathe it all in, take it away from him. And technically there was erecting like a soul value, a core mental thought process that would energize the body of what the feeling of New York City was, what my memory, how I reacted, and just because you can energize when somebody's around you and they're from out of state and they just do something and it has that aura to it, either warmth, cold, whatever it is, it's just something you notice. Either it's good or bad. If it's good, it makes you feel good or wonder, but it's a good wondering of, wow, that's cool, or maybe it's just like, that's not from here. It's a different type of feeling. Utilizing techniques to draw that out and to feel themselves what the feeling was I was feeling in New York, and what kind of power was in New York that I was comprehending, trying to acquire that. Next thing you know, I'm being mind broke in my sleep. I didn't last within good health that way more than 6 months. I stuck around because I was trying to get a job and get the fuck out of there, but it didn't work out. I was already collapsed within 6 months of the surgery, becoming well, and somebody created a situation where I wasn't well. Oh, we got a right to do this. It's family restrictive rights. You're mentally retarded. We're gonna do that family like. It was questioned years later when I had the doubt in my mind that they was not allowed to do it, and later on that the family's not allowed to even utilize the judgment themselves to utilize family law, that I'm mentally retarded, that they have a right to apply and keep it private, especially after 18. I was already well after 18, 36 years old now. But anyways, to apply any type of situation, social situation, you would have had to, one, if you're trying that, apply it before I was 18, and it'd have to take a certain type of steps anyways. So there's another systematical situation you'd have to follow that more than likely wasn't being followed. There's no paperwork or whatnot, even mental health deranged, whatever. But like everybody else has said, in the future, when I was talking, to psychologists, just toxic family members, and it seems like basically they're attacking you just like these other guys to control freaks. They need to dominate. They're utilizing me as a guinea pig. There's law enforcement and corruption involved with that. So that's hard to report. It's also hard to report when they've covered up the situation to the point basically making a persuasive situation to law enforcement. My persuasion is they've been stalking me. Just the stalking to rest the tension from that, mentally, psychologically, emotionally, physically breaking me to the point basically I'm inoperable. And then being blamed, it's a victim blaming that I'm inoperable because somebody's fucking with me. That's tedious. It's tedious. How about I follow you home every night? While you're asleep, I'm doing some type of moan, some type of trick, some type of hypnotic suggestion, trying to figure out how I can crack your mind. See if you wake up day after day and still be able to work your job, much less live your life, much less not be triggered of emotional distress that never even happened, or misconfigured because somebody's emotionally harming you in your sleep, and you wake up distorted because you didn't get no rest. But you didn't not only get no rest, you was emotionally abused in your sleep, if not completely physically abused to a point in the sleep, psychologically abused, creating an exhausting situation. And these guys like, yeah, you're mentally retarded, we got a right to do it, we're all associated with it. Like they built a Make-A-Wish Foundation illegally. That's another corrupted act situation that was caught with another agency in Colorado Springs. And that agency was shut down by the fucking county. The city allowed them to work. These people are stupid enough to apply through the city and actually start. Literally. And they're like, ha 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 ha. But they got that agency shut down anyways. Which also worked to coincide with law enforcement. So there goes the strength of law enforcement, when law enforcement's the one that either helped, aided, and they work side and side. You got an illegal fucking agency working for you, and you're not, we're law, we are legion, we are one, there's nothing that can penetrate, we are solid, we are concrete founded, nothing's wrong, always trust. Bullshit. Anyways, them starting some type of an ability to start some type of basically organization and applying it to me. Corrupted acts. Illegally working shit through loopholes. Trying to apply it, or not even trying to, applying it. And what's anybody going to do? Who's catching it? Who's going to say anything? And when you say anything, it's going to cost some people money, time, and thought process of trying to stress or prove the situation. So these people are well organized and have a backing and have had since I was a child. There's no paperwork in the system, which I was told I was mandatorily allowed to have, that there's anything associated with myself. Now, I said Make-A-Wish Foundation, may be off on that, but some type of developmental growth, organizational shit. And multitudes of people being allowed. It'd be almost like human trafficking, is the way I put it. It's just psychological, no sex to it, psychological human trafficking. They get to participate with abuse or controlling and whatnot, making themselves feel that they have responsibility and control, making themselves feel good in public, and grew up with it, utilized it basically as a situation to make themselves look good, that they're participating and that they have intelligence, that they know what they're doing and producing it in front of somebody else's face. Basically, entertaining themselves. Now, Carl Newman has an entertainment business. I wanted to throw that in there before I produce this video. Now, I got off of dreams, but this is how this organizational inducing in the mind, hypnotic suggestion. Look in the forensic sleep techniques on top. It gets into that shit. You have to have a whole lot of knowledge, and them utilizing me since a child. These people are in here, we know you, fuck yeah you do, since I was a child. And when I ask, even as a child, why didn't anybody, and there was people that recognized it, they warned me. I remember being warned as a child there's something wrong. And not only just my parents and family, but there's other people involved, and it's ick. It's homosexually related too. Most of the people fucking with me are homosexual, which I've been trying to discuss of homosexual organized crime. Once you start putting crime into it and playing with loopholes and playing with nobody caught it, so it's okay, even though they're also law enforcement. They certified themselves later on or whatever with law enforcement, mental health, authority situations, even if it's only a 6-month certification, just to say, I'm a certified mental health helper, technician, whatever it be, but trying to apply the mental health controlment part when, excuse me, when technically, per se, like they're a technician, or I don't know if that exists, but something that would not even have a psychologist, a psychologist, which is psychologists I talk to here in the county, understanding authoritative kind of positionings, who has the more intelligent and would understand something. These people are making it out. They're the top psychologists when they're nothing but an aid to profile for the psychologist. That is an abusive type of situation and needs to be reported. I need to technically put it right, and I put it right in front of county fucking agents here, but I couldn't go to the police and didn't go to the police. They was going to help me go to the police to a point, or at least back me, said they would back me with a little bit of psychological backing. But it's the police here locally also in Columbus, Ohio, that's participated with corrupted shit. Directly, I didn't feel that I'd be fairly treated, much less it being publicized or making a criminal charge, revenge acts coming after me. Now we're starting to get an intimidating fear of operating with a system that's supposed to protect you. Another protective, what was understood in the fucking talking to the psychologist or whatever from the county while I was locked up, a protective mechanism. And they're breaking the protective mechanisms, breaking the mental mechanisms while I sleep, even awake. But we'll just do what the video's about, sleeping and breaking those mechanisms, making sure that they're messed up. But even just socially, lifely understanding how things work, breaking the mechanisms that are supposed to work, even if I don't have a full intelligence of how it works, just automatic protection, automatic right doing. Trust that they will do right with their value. But it starts getting into, well, you trusted us. That's the trust you gave. You should have thought better yourself. Oh, there you go. Basically victim blaming. Gaslighting. And that's something else that mental, you won't have. Next thing you know, gaslighting's up on a supportive organizational post on Facebook. And then I take that as credible. Even if it's a private organization, they got many followers. It's about domestic violence, I think, and no more acts, and rapes and all kinds of shit. It's so tied in. It may not be from just that they're also tied in, or I have it tied in myself on Facebook, of 6 different groups of domestic violence, family violence groups, all that stuff. Anyhow, it was posted from them. So it's not now just normal people or people saying it exists. Now it's being taken in more by people who are trying to figure out stuff. So I don't have to work so hard. Personally, these people have connections, so they can help out. As far as I'm concerned, they have connections. They're credible. It's helped out because they'll stand behind that word to a point. If not, they could have somebody look into it, or maybe there is somebody looking into it, and they're paying out of their pocket or donations that they're getting from supporters. So it's no money out of my pocket, but at the same time, it's coming too slow to have anything done with. I need it now, and right now it ain't even need. Even if I was now given all of this, what happens? I rehabilitate. That means I still have to come out, repair everything. It's not going to be an instant, okay, free, everything's done, great, which would be a great feeling to feel, but it's not going to get better immediately. It's going to take growth into that. And there's so much damage done. Am I going to grow into that? Anyways, going back into the original topic, where the police is corrupt, I need to get back into, and I cut off there, I apologize, but getting back into just the dreaming part. Being socially, mentally, physically, lifely controlled. Day in, day out, exhausted. And then being blamed, why are you so tired? That's a sign of mental health. And then the doctors are also seeing what kind of duress. It's not mental health, it's intelligent, intellect challenging, systematically challenging of authoritative positions. I'm going to ask a question. It's like football. You have to learn the positions first to understand them. You might perceptualize it as you're watching the game, but usually you have to pick up and figure it out. You'll research it by figuring out what positions do what. Unless, of course, you're being slapped. So you go to look into who the quarterback is, and you're being told, no, you're not allowed to have that information. You're not right. Well, I'll tell you how that works. With that being said, in all the other positions, same way, or how to understand that. The abilities know you must only understand this much. Well, that's the same thing with the authoritative system, whatnot. So these power control freaks can't be overridden, is what it is. And they was called by psychologists power control freaks. That's a severity statement. That means they're willing to do whatever they want to do to keep, obtain, hold that power, and build on that power to the extent of resorting in death. I've already made a video of sleep exhaustion. You're here to help me out. I'm doing this. It's not just an insinuation. They act like that. How you doing? I mean, it is just obnoxious ass fucking shit. Even past that, and it's intentional. Some of it may not be intentional, and I just dislike it. But I'm noticing some of it is intentional. But anyways, you're trying to help me out, but you're not helping. You're participating. Matter of fact, you're the ones doing it. Not just a little participation. You're in there acting like you're acquiring power. I don't have a fucking certified county fucking psychologist that was backing that for no reason. Trying to mix me up on authoritative positions so I can't make correct reports, so I look like I'm unstable. Sounds like it's gaslighting. Boy, exactly what it talked about yesterday, exactly what I was understanding prior, and when I watched the movie Gaslighting, fucking 6 years, 7 years, 8 years ago, and was getting into it. And I do believe I was studying it in 2008, 2009. Just barely a tip of it, and then I stopped watching it because I was being eavesdropped on. It's another thing. Wiretapped, eavesdropped, everything I touch, read. I have to okay that for you. Or making the feeling, I'll okay that for you. If you don't like me making you feel that I'll okay that for you, I'll just go ahead and utilize restraintive controlling techniques. Like mess with you in your sleep. mess with your social ability to be independent while out in public. I'll create public mishap. Now they're utilizing law enforcement, which they may have a right to, of investigation. You committed a crime. Haha. We set you up and sabotaged you. Now we got more rights. You gave us the right to do that. Ha, bitch type of situation. They're not here helping. I know that. They're not here for my bestest interest. And on top, even if they was, and I said no, that means you're messing with my life. You might have been trying to do it for the good. Go on. I said no. No means no. But they don't listen. No, we ain't taking no. We know how the system works. We know better than you. We got a right where you need to you're out of hand. You need to understand what's going on. Really? I'm out of hand because you've agitated me to being out of hand and then caused people to view me as being unstable because you created the instability, which was agreed on by psychologists and a team. Like trying to say, I assaulted you and I have scratch marks on me. I may have basically assaulted the other person, but that person left scratch marks on me. The scratch marks was an attack of type of scratch mark. They forensically looked at it. That's an attack scratch mark. That's not a self-defense. That's an attack. Intentional scratch type of scratch mark. So that type of situation. Oh, I'm the victim. He touched me back. Wait a minute, touched you back. So you hit him first, you touched him first, and he pushed you away type of situation. Or, I'm not going to get into hit and physical violence, but self-defense, push back away, and they utilize that as a hit because the other person stumbled and fell after scratching me, after physically touching me, after being in my face and me holding, not doing nothing to them or trying to agitate except, hey, step back, and they finally touched me. I'll do what I want to, violating me. And the mentality of, I'll do what I want to. You're mentally retarded. I'm going to take advantage of you. That happened right here in this house that I'm in right now. And on top, external. Now you got not just the party that was involved, nobody else here but me and that party per se. External parties trying to participate with, you're abusive. I'm not abusive. You're all in here playing fucking some type of organizational, basically what I'm going to say crime, but organizational group shit of controlment that you don't have a right to. Or you're trying to validate a right, perjurize, persuade the system, and I have to go over fight your shit. And me being exhausted to the point, I just don't have any power to fight back. Well, then you need to go get help. And it was questioned, why would he need to go get help? Because you exhausted him. That is psychological abuse, neglect, and all kinds of other shit. That's what the system said. The same system they're saying they know best of. Anyways, lady next door, she says, and she likes intimidating, she used to work way back in the 80s, early 90s with mental health. She worked in mental health facilities. She hurt people there. She didn't, I had to pinch their fingers. It hurt them, and to control them from enacting out. Put them in submission as a restraint. Holy fuck. I might consider that as psychotic myself, but hey, back then that was technique. That now is illegal. I think it was technique back then. At some point in time, they made that illegal. It'd be physical assault. But the threat and intimidation of the amount of what some people would say insane techniques being able to be utilized in an authoritative control situation. That's just one neighbor. The other neighbors here, I'm pointing in directions of where they live. Right next door there, 2 people that submitted their law enforcement and profiling. The way they did it was illegal, wrongful. It caused them, and if proven, causes them to lose their whole case. I was told this by FBI in New York City by questioning. Just real quick questions, but not. May not have been the greatest legal advice, but I was also talking to lawyers, but that wasn't still within the legal advisable range, but just advice. Got the guy across the street, which I'm saying is part of, the massive part of, either the organized stalking, whatnot, playing around with law. And playing around with law, there's law enforcement, police that work down his police department, partying around there's a shop and a house right there, literally a massive parking lot right there, with a brick building shop, and then he owns the house that's at the edge of the property, as part of the residential situation. So he's utilizing an industry residential type of enforcement. But anyways, that's all fine. Also in the community, if it's worked right. But you got police that was there. You've had other law enforcement figures, and I do believe even mental health people that's been at parties across the street. Alcohol involved, and there's drugs, parties, and I didn't realize till later, or else I would have jumped on it. But I walk across the police department and fucking clown less than the police department is only about 3 blocks down the street. Fucking clown pulling out of the fucking parking lot that was clowning around across the street. And the reason why I remember it, because I stepped out on my porch and you got this, oh, there he is. Especially when I'm having a bad day. And how can you be supporting and know and understand, well, I was just trying to have fun with him. I know what's going on with him. If you know what's going on with me, why didn't you know? Not just having a bad day, but what's going on. That would have fucking completely, might have offset me the wrong way. Unless, of course, you intentionally did it to do that. To intentionally set me off to make me look unstable or to create a triggering effect. Let's get back into talking to a real psychologist that's certified, employed by the county and the city, rather than just taking somebody either taking a swing at it or just trying to authoritate. Well, I've been certified and trained, but I don't work here. I'm not employed. And I say that because I've also went through incidences like that in Colorado Springs, where the police stopped another person, basically trying to force authorization of mental health. And they wasn't even employed by the city, county, or state. They wasn't employed. They didn't have a fucking right to invoke their authorization. While they're trying to utilize a loophole, which allows a mental health certified person, even if they ain't a psychologist, literally a 6 months training, passing certification, giving them the rights to asset mental health problems in the community. They dishonored that loophole. It is a loophole. I'm calling it a loophole. Most people don't know that, understand it. And since it wasn't mostly understood in the way they was utilizing it, the police shut that shit down. Revenge acts from this motherfucker ever since. I know he's tied into it. It's his people, whatnot. You're in here trying to control every aspect of my life. I walk across property line. Even if I am trespassing, most people wouldn't even have nothing. They walked across the fucking property, got lost, whatnot. Even if they was trespassing, for me, I'm targeted with it. Bad. I'll tell you how that works, and I'm going to incriminate you civilly and socially. As I follow you across the United States of any property you touch, I have a legal right to do this as a citizen of the United States. Now we're getting stepping out of the range of being supportive to a community, like they're trying to make out it's all good for the community. You're not here supporting your community. You're targeting me personally for yourself to have control. But hey, is it right? Is it a loophole kind of right that they got a right? They wouldn't have the right to stalk, though, to enforce the situation of the United States citizenship of enforcing the trespassing, even if it ain't their property, of what it was. Could you imagine hiking on the side of the road, or hitchhiking or hiking, and every place that you go, you're trespassing, or that you've trespassed? People do it. It ain't right. So I'm kind of unlevel there, and these people in here recording every trespass that you ever had, and then the accumulation, them making it out that you're a habitual. You're psychotic. You've habitually trespassed. Innocent shit. No the property's there, no houses, no nothing. Vacant lots type of situation if you start out with. Just try that with making a little situation for myself that's better off than it being a dwelling or something that was there where you're on actually somebody's residential property, not just business property. And that would be a little more severe. But let's just say it was all vacant properties. And these people are in here, haha, that's still trespassing. And even the police didn't do it. But they recorded the trespassing themselves and built up anything and everything that they could. Trying to rub it in on top of power control freak situation. Utilizing that to say this is the reason why we're scolding in the sleep. A person must pay the price. It's a social scolding. And they also like doing it in the sleep. It's like almost a double take. I wake up agitated. Oh, that's mental health situation. Need to go get help with that. The person being asinine applying that, is asininity illegal? It can be. It can come out to being basically victim blaming, agitation, psychological abuse, neglect, emotional abuse, neglect. It just leads into a lot of shit, I guess. And I'm going to state that for myself, but I know the psychologist said the same thing, or something similar to the same thing. Did I modify it myself to make it look good or maybe comprehensive? Maybe a little bit. But the same thing, hey, me having the ridiculement, me feeling like I'm being scrutinized or would, which I accept, but them not being scrutinized for what they're doing? Oh no, that's not going to work. You don't look into us. We have a right to do what we want to you, but you look into us and you'll have problems. That sounds like trusty law enforcement. That sounds like you can trust that person real nice, wholly with your life. Nothing's gonna happen. Right. Then victim blaming. You shouldn't have allowed it to happen. It's your fault. You should have understood how that worked. When you can go out, 90% of Americans don't know that works. It's your fault. That doesn't matter. 90% of Americans then are wrong. Bullshit. Anyways, I'm going to end this video. It's been a lengthy ass talk. A lot of rambling, but you get the point of psychologically being traumatized is the way I'm going to put it in my sleep. Hypnotic sleep suggestions, forensic sleep tooling is the way I go, but it's even worse than that. And there's more to it. I need to get into it. I've read stories of toxicity, toxic people utilizing these methods against their victims or who they're trying to control freak situation. And just outright, and that's been years ago. I didn't save the report, I couldn't print it type of situation. I'll have to go back and look at it. Even though the person that wrote it, are they legitimate? Is it an organization? Are they trusty? Do they have the right to, is it an authoritative statement, or is it just a personal type of situation? I'm utilizing that more or less authoritatively, sometimes in the wrong of saying it's authoritative when it's only a statement, but it's been studied, or a study that hasn't been completely foundationalized. It's just an assumption, or is foundationalized but hasn't been completely fine foundationalized, just like gaslighting. But anyways, yeah, I'm all messed up. I've lost, even the psychologist in the facility said, and that was 8 years ago, roughly, you've already lost most of your life. It's unbelievable. It's crazy. And then while somebody else, hey, if that's the case, then he needs to be locked up because somebody caused you harm. The control freak situation, the associations and things you've been through. No way. That's sad. It is sad, but not trying to make, how are you trying to help somebody else feel happy when there's a sad situation going on? I'm done. I'm going to go ahead and press stop on this video. Hopefully this is explanation, and I'm going to upload it. I apologize for the no shirt. What I say is immediate for stalking and any incident. If you're going through something, it may not even be just stalking, but it's explained multitudes of times over and over and over. Record what's going on. Time, date, incident, whatnot. Videos are the best because you can visually see yourself. You can verbally hear yourself. Your notes are there. I wouldn't say not to take notes on it also, or make notes and times and date in a database that way, and never think, well, hell, I don't have my camera, I'm not going to record it. Always record, even if you have to write it down. The old day original, 90 years ago, write it down. Recording audio, that's great too, but of course video is a lot better. But between writing, audio, and video, I still say both of audio and video have a little bit of heightened of what's around at the moment, but I've also found out writing it down, some other extra stuff in a certain way helps out too. Not that you have to, but organizational of those videos and audios though, I devalidate that myself for myself because I messed up. I have 7-8 years worth of videos plus and no at all organization to them. Massive folders full of videos. That's it. No date to a point. The videos are dated because that's the way they record and save. But anyways, just lagging on that. Try to organize it, but technically 7 years. I'm not reporting stuff. Usually 6 months. I won't even put a usual to it because that's a bad thing to do. It's not saying to wait 6 months, but I would say about 6 months, 3 months. I think it was 3 months to 6 months. If it's lasted that long, then it's severe enough. It is severe enough, and with the proof of what you're saying, somebody should be able to represent it authoritatively. But that's not correct even going on. It could be 3 days worth of shit. A day. Let's get down to it. The split second. Don't not go in and tell on it because I said something like that or think that way. It's not exact bad information, but it's not exactly right either. Anyways, targetofunlawfulacts.com. That's ACTS, targetofunlawfulacts.com. I've started that, posted some stories. I don't know where I want to go with it, but it has a lot of different things to it. You'll get into implanting, mind control to a point. Gaslighting is what I'm going to put up there, some information on that, and some other things. A little touch basis of being able to have a place to go to question or get a little information that you can question, maybe with a professional that you trust, or legal advice that the people that you trust to look into it, to help the people that will and you feel that are helping you out. But at the same time, don't want to get somebody in trouble to where they feel trusted or making trust for somebody that's untrustworthy. But anyways, if you're trusting something and getting help or having someone else help you, maybe what I'm trying to do there is basically help out of giving a couple of clue ideals of where to start or what to do. Just like stalking, there's videos up there about stalking and harassment, and it isn't personal. These are organizations or professionals putting these videos together. Some of them, anyhow. There's good enough professionalism there. It is professional, not just individuals saying by their point of view how things work. Even though sometimes that does work because they actually have paperwork saying, hey, I went through this and this is how I got help. Me, right now, I don't have that. I've been through it. I just don't have the paperwork or the backing right now. I'm saying, see, this is what should be taking place. Anyways, so yeah, there's that. I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I'm going to let it sit here. Gotta let it upload to a bunch of other online cloud storages, and then I'm going to upload this to YouTube. But once again, targetofunlawfulacts.com, and not complaining, whining, but here goes another life situation and problem. I wake up today, and I've already been at work. I've already been living while I was supposed to be sleeping. I've already been active, and now I'm still tired while I just woke up after only 4.5 hours of sleep maybe. But still pretty tired because I've just lived a second life in my sleep kind of situation where I've been exhausted. And there's been assaults in the sleeps. There's more to it. This dream, it sounds this one kind of sounds like a real sweet kind of dream compared to what I've been through. Car crashes, plane crashes, beaten up, being shot, stabbed in the sleep, aggressive methods, while somebody else, there's been multitudes over many years, decades, even since a child, the techniques that they're utilizing. It can be induced, to induce the feeling of harm in someone's sleep, like a toxic person, or you can go into a sleep aid forensics or a sleep aid doctor, a psychologist, that knows hypnotic suggestions, more than likely get it out of them, of what they're trying to induce in the sleep and what it does. I need to do that myself and get a little better hands-on so I can explain it better, but I do know I've already been and talked to, and that was explained okay enough for me to get the ideal conception of how it works. And these other people, they've studied it though. They intentionally studied things. Even the doctors said normal people just don't study. Not that hard. They might do a little bit like you did, unless somebody's having a problem like you are. It's not saying not to, because you believe it's massive enough to study into. But most people, as what you're saying these people are doing, don't study into the stuff that hard. There is something wrong with that. It's not normal. It should be understood of not being normal. Making sure it's detailed, looked into, rather than being looked over at, what is it, a hobby? The police want to look at it, maybe they have a hobby doing it. You're in here scolding me about weird shit. You don't think that's weird to be looking into loopholes of your system or more authoritative intelligence? Not saying it's completely illegal until it comes to the point they cross the line with it. And see, we had legal talks at the facility. That way I'm not disregarded of don't worry about it or you can't do nothing about it. Yes, enforcing a step of legalities to be able to feel that there's protection from it. That's what you're, to a point, what legal authorities are supposed to do. Psychological authority, law enforcement authority, whatever authority it is, to help out, to authoritate, to protect. Anyways, that being said, I'm done. Peace. Sorry about the lengthy video, and hopefully you make it to the end, or even if you skipped and made it to the end. There's a lot of detailed information and how things connect. Prior to this, even 15 minutes, that got off topic, that got into another authoritative, controlling topic that alleviates a lot of my information of what I know. It may help out somebody else, but for myself, yeah, I'm here for myself, explaining my story, and also saying, hey, you got a comment with it, and allow me know what you think and whatnot. But I can't reach out for help. I'm starting to understand feeling protective. Don't put things on the internet you wouldn't want your mom to see, type of situation. I've been through an attack severely since 2008 of exactly that situation. A private website nobody would have ever found unless she was directly given the address to a point. Somebody eavesdropping in the house, exposing that address, exposing the information. An in-house situation of somebody exploiting somebody else. And they exploited it also not just around the house and belittled. They took it to New York City when I traveled there within 3 months of hitting that site up, and just outright destroyed my life with it. More of what they was doing, they utilized that as another key factor, which was pretty harsh, and destroyed my life with it. But I just wanted to throw that in there to show how bad things can get. But for myself, I'm just going to keep doing the videos. Hopefully I don't mess myself up lawfully somehow myself by doing this, devalidating rights or anything else of having sanity, peace, and quality in my life, or devalidating a possible lawsuit or anything else that would come up in a wreck. But hey, already feeling the persuasion and micro voicing. There's electronic jamming, interference, all kinds of shit, but the micro voicing like LRAD shit and being influenced by something else has already been tested elsewhere. It doesn't happen elsewhere if these people aren't around. Kind of strange, don't you think? Nah, that's my kind of basis of proof. But anyways, being belittled on saying that, well then, you do better. That's why we learn to take you on. I destroyed your life, and I got a legal right to do so. Bullshit. I do whatever I want to with you. I can make you dream. I can make you feel whatever I want you to feel. I'm done. This time, for real. Peace. Press and stop on this video.